Now to the jury in the case. They deliberated nearly 30 hours over 7 days before setting Michael Jackson free. Raymond Holtman and Pauline Kakos were jurors on this trial. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Raymond, let me start with you. You are the juror we've been referring to who has said after the verdict that you believe Michael Jackson had molested boys, and yet you voted to acquit. Take me through the thinking.
Well, Matt, this whole trial wasn't about what you believe. It was about determining whether or not Michael Jackson was guilty of the charges in the case. And we had to look at 10 very specific charges dealing with very specific items and very specific timelines. I was disturbed about some of the evidence in the case, as you know. And anyone can develop their own belief as to, what that means.
Well, let me just interrupt, Raymond, for a second. Do you think that Michael Jackson molested the boy in question in this case, the accuser? No,
I don't. I believe that there's reasonable doubt because of a number of factors, and that was what the case was all about. I mean, there was a lot of evidence presented, but it didn't lead me to believe that it erased the unreasonable doubt, or it erased the reasonable doubt, rather, in this case.
Paulina, you said this in the post-trial press conference. You said, "What mother in her right mind would allow that to happen, or just freely volunteer your child, to sleep with someone?" In your opinion, did this boil down to the mother of this accuser?
It had a lot to do with it. You can't deny that you would expect her behavior to be a little better, more responsible.
But do you think she set this up, that she placed her son in that position simply for financial gain?
I guess I want to hesitate to answer that because I would be speculating, but she has to accept responsibility as an adult, as a parent, and it does affect your child tremendously, obviously. So she should think, before she does something.
How much of the information you heard in testimony about the mother's past and the family's past had an impact on you versus, and how would you weigh that in opposition to Michael Jackson's past bad acts?
I don't think it's so much about her past, but what currently happened in this trial, and her testimony. Actually, I think the family, the boys, and as well as the mother, it was very questionable as far as their credibility. So, maybe their past had a little influence, but we surely didn't base our decisions on the past.
Raymond, there are some people who say that the prosecutor, Tom Sneddon, bit off more than he could chew, that if he had stuck to the molestation charges in this case, he might have been better off, but it was trying to prove the complicated conspiracy charge that may have been his undoing. How would you answer that?
I really don't think that that's the case. We did consider the conspiracy issue, but the molestation charges were kind of the focus of what the jury was considering, and even though the charges were difficult to evaluate in this case, I think that the jury did a good job in separating the issues and arriving at the conclusion that there was reasonable doubt.
And Raymond, quickly, if you will, let me end with you. Having said that you think Michael Jackson had molested boys in the past, do we have a situation here where the prosecution did a bad job and maybe a predator is back on the street?
No, I think the prosecution did the best job that they could do. In my mind, the evidence that came in from 93 and 94 indicated that Michael Jackson has a pattern of molesting young boys.
And so are you comfortable with him being free?
I am, because we can't, by the law and by the instructions that were given to us by Judge Melville, we can't go directly from concluding that there was a pattern to pointing to the guilt of the particular accuser in this case.
Raymond Holtman and Paulina Kakos, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.